Hello, hello, hello. Angel here, long time no see. My oh my, it's been a long time. Where have you been? Where have I been? How are you doing? I hope life is treating you so well. Where have I been since January? Well, I've been walking this crooked path. I'm going to give you some updates on that. There's a video coming very soon about where I've been, what detours I've been taking on this spiritual path that I'm on. So more about that in a different video. Keep your eyes peeled. But today we are doing a VR to Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension. Hashtag top 11 current favourite decks. This was a tough one. I use a lot of decks in my collection and it was really hard to get it down to 11 decks. What can I say? I'm not going to say anymore. Let's jump into it. So I saw this tag a few weeks ago and I was thinking, I really want to do a response to that. And I did a whole list of the decks that I was really loving at that moment in time. And then when I sat down to film today, I thought, oh, but those aren't my current favourites, like on this day, right at this moment. So I'm a fickle bean. Things ebb and flow within my practice. And my current favourites. Obviously I have, favourites within my practice, but my current favourites can change from day to day depending if I've had an amazing reading with this set of decks today. I might have a mind-blowing reading with another set of decks tomorrow, and they will, be my favourites tomorrow. So this can ebb and flow. So these are my favourites today. That being said, let's start with the first pairing, which I purchased actually thanks to Shanna D. I saw Remembering the Sweet Fall Tarot on their channel. This is an indie deck by Tricia Murray and The Lost Oracle by Fiona Horn. Now I purchased these back in, I want to say the end of December, beginning of January. These are the backs of the Remembering the Sweet Fall Tarot. Do you think I can remember Remembering the Sweet Fall Tarot? No. Whenever I think about this deck, I think of the Wandering Sweet Fall Tarot. I cannot remember the word remembering. There's a bit of irony in there, I feel. These are the backs of the Lost Oracle. I think they were edged out the box. Don't quote me on that. And these two together, honestly, they've been so good. Now, I'm going to say, as mentioned, I'm sure I got these home, in January. December or January. And the minute I got these decks out of the box, they connected me to a deity's energy that had not been calling to me. Or, maybe that I wasn't aware that was calling to me. And since getting these decks in January, I've been using them to connect to this deity's energy. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more about that in my catch-up coming very soon. If you're very interested, keep your eyes peeled for that. These two together have been working fantastically well. I don't pull them every single day because, I don't want to annoy my deity by needing guidance from them every single day. They're like, for goodness sake, has she got their blooming cards out again? Is she trying to contact us again one more time? I tend to bring these out when I need, I really do need some guidance within my practice or with whatever's happening in my life. Apologies for my washing machine that's suddenly, taking off. Was it a coincidence that these two connected me to the deity's energy that I suddenly felt drawn to? Or, did I purchase them because the deity was already in the background, waiting to connect with me? I don't know. I can't answer that. Your guess is as good as mine. But these two have been amazing. Really enjoy the guidebook. Remembering the Sweet Fall Tarot has some poetry in the guidebook. Let's just do that. So there are no keywords, which is fine. I hope you can read that. Pause if you'd like to read. And it's the same all the way through with the majors and the minors. I just really like the guidebook, and I really like the guidebook of the Lost Oracle as well. The Lost Oracle has got a lot of information, I feel. Pause if you'd like to read. But I tend to, I'm going to say, I do read the guidebook entries, but I feel that and I don't do this consciously, but it's only the parts that resonate for me that really stick. So I could read this whole paragraph, and I couldn't say to you what I've just read, but there will be a line that, you know, I can recall because it really resonates for me. Does it make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense to me in my mind. You know how these videos go. You know, I mean, you know, this is not my first rodeo, and it might not be your first rodeo either. You might have been here before and think, oh God, Gordon Bennett, you know, her babbling style of video has not changed. You know, but you know, why fix what's not broken? I don't know. We're moving along. We're moving along to the next decks. So in connection with the same deity work, the Pocket Animal Spirit deck has gotten a good old airing and had a playtime on my desk. Playtime, you know, not playtime, but you know. So I've been putting some cards, I would say actually pretty much a couple a week, I think, from this deck. There is a normal standard version. I've purchased the tinned version. I purchased this quite a while ago, I think. When did I purchase this one, do we think? It must have been the middle of last year. Haven't really used it, and then it started calling to me for this deity work. And it's so good. I do really like Kim Crance's decks. I'm going to say they are a bit of a slow burner for me. They have been a slow burner for me. I think I've got all of Kim Crance's decks actually now, to be honest. And this month, I'm feeling really drawn, I've pulled it out, it's on my tarot cart, to work with the Wild Unknown tarot deck. Where did that come from? I don't know. But, and I wouldn't call it a spring deck, but, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. I go with where my intuition draws me or pulls me. But back to this deck, really, really enjoy it. Love this tarantula. I'm going to share a little anecdote or a little bit of information. I did a meditation with the deity that I've been working with. And I kind of asked for a sign, and I wanted one of their representations or one of their associations, I'm going to say, is a snake. And I really wanted to see like snake skin or a snake or this shedding of the skin, but of a snake. And I came out of the meditation and, you know, carried on with my, you know, day-to-day life and was, you know, what's the word? Picked up my phone and looked at Instagram, and the first thing that came up on my phone was a tarantula shedding its, I'm going to say like its shell, you know, to enable it to continue its growth. And that is just so typical. I was like blown away because, you know, I'd had this kind of dialogue within this meditation with the deity that, you know, I really wanted to be shown a sign of this snake shedding the skin, and instead my deity was like, you know, I'm not going to do things on your terms almost, you know. I'm going to show you the sign you want to see, but it's going to be on my terms. And I love that. I was like, boom, loved it. So, you know, I got my sign, but it wasn't what I expected. And I've had another incident like that as well. Because, you know, my deity is not a puppet to be controlled. They do things on their terms when they want to. And I love that. I really love that. That was a long story, wasn't it? It was. Let's move along. So the next deck is Tira May's Cave of Sybil Oracle. I'm going to say that this is I want to say it's the most expensive deck that I've brought into my collection. And this is a deck that I saw. I can't think where I saw it, but it kind of connects me to the same deity that I was talking about. Now I saw this somewhere, I can't remember. And I was thinking, I really need that deck in my collection. Now, I know that when this was on Kickstarter, I saw it and I didn't feel drawn to it. I was like, no, this is not my cup of tea. I don't need this deck. And then I saw it maybe in January, I want to say. And I was like, I need that in my collection. That's got something to tell me. And I'm going to say it's like a chthonic oracle, I would say. And I went onto the Etsy shop, Tira May's Etsy shop, and there wasn't an option to send to the country that I live in. So I contacted them and they were like, no, unfortunately, I'm not sending to that country. And I was thinking, how on earth am I going to get my hands on this deck? Because I really feel I need it. There's something this deck needs to help me with in my practice, especially working with this energy that I'm working with at the moment. So I actually managed to find it in Finland on an indie site. That, you know, sells indie decks, and purchased it, got it home, and it absolutely blew me out the water. It absolutely blew me out the water. Now these, I'm going to say, I haven't previously felt very drawn to Tira May's artwork. Nothing against it, but it hasn't, you know, it hasn't spoken to me. But Gordon Bennett, does this deck speak to me? Now, the keywords are on the back, which I really, really, really like. I'm going to say that this is a deck that I haven't been shuffling and drawing cards. When I initially got this deck, I went through the deck to look at the cards, and this card spoke to me. I was drawn to this card straight away. And when I drew this card, I kind of got some guidance from the data that I'm working with. I felt I was being kind of guided to work with womb healing, my own, and like the womb or the portal or the cocoon that I'm currently in myself, in this darkness that I'm in. I don't mean darkness in like a negative way. I just mean like, you know, in this kind of, yeah, I'm going to say cocoon. This kind of this moment that I feel paused in my, is that the right word? The stillness that I'm in at the minute within my practice and, you know, within my life, the phase of life that I'm in. Anyway, so I took this card out, worked with it very deeply, and it also started speaking to me of past life. You know, this past life connection, this cord. So I've been working with that very, very deeply. This also I felt called to pull out. This is Brew, which spoke to me of this, you know, I was looking at the womb as a vessel, and what the vessel was holding, what maybe it was, you know, needed to release. Yeah, I'm going to go more into that in the video about, in the catch-up video. I don't want to go too deeply into it now. And then, so these cards have been sitting on my altar space since I got the deck home. And then I pulled these 3 cards, which I'm currently working with. This is Skinwalker, Communion, and even this one, which is Gather. And then I've even had this one out on my altar, which is Faceless. And then a couple of days ago, I actually pulled for the first time. I shuffled the deck and asked it a specific question and pulled this one, which was Law. So these cards I've been working with really intensely. This card is totally speaking to me now as well. And I do get that this artwork is not everyone's cup of tea. I would say that this artwork can be very triggering. But it's been like tapping into something that I didn't realise I needed to tap into. And I haven't been using this deck in like for divination. I haven't been using this deck as I have any other deck, and I haven't been shuffling it and like allowing a jumper to come forward to me. I've been looking through the deck and seeing what card it is that has really spoken to me in that moment, with the work that I'm doing currently, with the deity or within my practice. I hope that really makes sense. So, and I really feel drawn to this. Sorry, I'll show you the artwork, and then I'm just going to look at the keyword because that's really like speaking to me. Lure. Oh, I feel I need to get that one out. So yes, so do I? Yeah, I mean, yes, it is a very expensive deck. Do I regret buying it? Absolutely not. You know, it's really tapping me into some very important healing, much needed work. I'm going to say that. The guidebook is unlike any guidebook I've ever seen before. This is called a spell book, and oh, look at this. Here we go. Cord, which is the card I've been working with. It's just like not a poem, but what it is, it's just like a spell. It's a spell book. Sorry, I need to sneeze. Oh, sorry. I think I've got a cold coming. Apologies. And sorry for the shiny ring light on the guidebook. Sorry. Mortal Circle, Meet of Fable, the Deathless Sign Reborn. And it all seems a bit random, but I don't know. This deck has just blown me out the water. It really, really has. So yeah, wasn't feeling, you know, drawn to Tira May's work at all. Nothing against it, just wasn't feeling drawn to it. And then the Cave of Sybil happened. Should we move along to the next deck? I think we should. So one of the last videos that I put out was a haul video about the decks that I had gotten for birthday and Christmas. And one of those decks in that collection was the Alchemical Visions Tarot. Now, I clearly remember saying in that video that the Alchemical Visions Tarot really reminded me of another deck that I wasn't interested in purchasing, and that was the Ritual Tarot. I should never have said that, because the Ritual Tarot was like, you know, to the universe was like, hold my beer. I'm going to show her. I'm going to show her that she doesn't want to purchase me. So after receiving the Cave of Sybil, well, actually, I think it was a bit before that, actually, to be honest, I was seeing the Ritual Tarot everywhere. Now, I've seen it, you know, because this is a really popular deck. I've seen this, you know, all over Instagram, all over my, you know, feed, you know, blah, 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 all over TarotTube for ages. You know, this is not, you know, it hasn't just come out. And I never felt drawn to it. And then, you know, I just got this need to, you know, I just wanted it in my collection. And could I get my hands on it? No, I could not. And, you know, Tira May wasn't sending to the country that I live in. And I was like, you know, I really want it. So I put my feelers out, and I kept my feelers out. And the same shop that I purchased the Cave of Sybil Oracle from got this back in stock. And I was like, buy. So this, I'm going to say this one and the Cave of Sybil Oracle are my most expensive decks in my collection. Purchased this one. Is this I can't think what this is called, but it's got the title somewhere on the card, so you know what the image is. I'm thinking of an edge in mine, not sure. Anyway, let's get to the meat and the potatoes of the whole thing. This is also by Tira May. I blooming, if I could use a stronger word on YouTube, I would say something stronger than blooming. I'm just enamoured with this deck. Can I say that? I've said it, it's too late. I don't know what it is. But, you know, and I don't use it in connection with the Cave of Sybil Oracle, because I do feel they've got totally different energies. And I'm going to say as well, I've only pulled a couple of cards so far from this deck, but there's just something about it. There is just something about it. And I don't think I'm the kind of person, I don't tend to follow the crowd. I don't tend to, you know, I'm quite happy to make my own decisions about things. So it's not the fact that this was a hyped deck and that lots of people love it, because I was totally, you know, as mentioned, I was like, no, I don't, you know, I appreciate it, but I don't need to have that in my collection. And then something just switched and I was like, I need to get my hands on it. And since getting my hands on it, I've looked through this deck. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've looked for this deck just to look at the artwork. There's something about it that's just like, I don't know. I don't even have words for it. But it's totally one of my favourites right at the minute, which is why it's being shown in this VR. I love this. Love the Queen of Swords. I'm having a total, you know, moment with the Queen of Swords. I say that. Is this the Queen of the Swords? Yeah, it was the Queen of Swords. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, so much so that I have created, oh, surprise, surprise, a paper bag journal for this deck for some work that I'm going to be doing around it. Dare I show you that? Where's the journal? Wait. I know you want to see the cards, but let me just show you the journal quickly. Let's do this. Yeah, so I just, you know, made the paperback journal, collaged it with some, you know, old books that I had to kind of look a bit like Tira May. Not that I could ever look like Tira May's artwork, because their artwork is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to use this, obviously, going to, you know, continue with the colouring of the pages and stuff. And I've put some extra journaling pages in here, and here as well, and here, you know, to do some work, special work with this deck. So yeah, more about that in my, you know, my catch-up video. But I mean, I don't know what it is about Tira May's artwork at the minute. It's, you know, it's speaking to me on a totally, on a level that I did not expect it to. Let's just do that and that and that. I'm going to say the card stock for this deck is quite slippery. It's thick, but it is slippery, and I've dropped some cards several times. I've damaged them, which I'm really annoyed at myself for, because, you know, I'm very careful with this because obviously it was so expensive. But then on the other hand, you know, the money's been spent and it's my deck, you know, and I've bought it to be used. So, you know, if accidents happen, I try to be as careful as I can with my decks. But as mentioned, this is quite slippery cardstock. Don't know what it is for cardstock, but I like it. Anyway, so yes, I mean, you know, I'm totally off on a tangent here, but I just blooming love it. Do you have this deck? Can I ask what you use it for? If you'd be happy to share that with me in the comment section, please drop me a comment. I would be very interested to know. Have you edged your deck? I know that Coyote Tarot, I'm sure that they've got this deck, and they mentioned that they had edged it, and then it wasn't particularly very good. It didn't hold its edging. I don't know. So I'm a bit like, should I edge it? Should I not? I don't know. And it'll be being black because I'm having a total love affair with black at the minute. And, you know, I'm still in this, what's the word? Dark academia, is it called? And gothic phase. So, you know, I'm not bothered that it's, you know, sunny and spring-like outside. Give me the dark decks. I feel like Gollum. My precious. Moving along to the next deck. So the next deck is the Lioness Oracle Tarot. This was a second-hand deck that I found online. Purchased it, I think, maybe November, December last year. Wanted to use it. It was like kind of in my rotation, but I wasn't really using it yet. And then since January, I've been using it. January, February, March, and even April. It's still in my tarot cart. Yeah, I really like it. Really like it. I was using this deck paired with... Can't think of the name of the deck, so I'm going to put the name on the screen. It was an okay pairing. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say actually that I used that pairing January and February, and then I was kind of thinking, why am I still using those decks, those other two decks? Because, you know, although I'm enjoying them, they're not like blowing me away. Whereas this deck, I felt like it was, you know, really blowing me away. So I've kind of almost been using this more as a oracle deck, I'm going to say. Love this. And I've cut this has kind of been tapping into my servitor work that I'm currently still doing. Yeah. What can I say? Not particularly very much. I'm going to say that I don't tend to go to the guidebook for this one, and I do read it quite intuitively. And I can't put my finger on what it is about it that's, you know, kept me hooked, I'm not going to say kept its claws in me, but there's something about it that has kept me hooked, you know, to be using it since January. You know, I tend to, rotate rotate my decks, you know, monthly. So that this has held out January, February and March, and pretty much into April as well, is actually pretty impressive. So this is currently one of my favourites, and it's still sitting in my tarot cart, so no doubt it will be with me, you know, in the rotation for a little bit longer. The next decks, it's a combination of 3 decks. Let's get into it. So the next decks out are the Crystal Grid Oracle, which is a mass market deck. We've got the Faceted Garden Oracle, which I've had in my collection for a long time, indie, and even the Textured Tarot, which I've also had in my collection for a long time, which is also indie. I had the intention to work with these two this year. I mentioned in my 2025 intentions video that I really wanted to work more with the indie decks that have been kind of laying dormant in my collection, you know, for the longest time, I felt. So I'm really happy that these have kind of gotten time on my desk and to be used. Now, I used these 3 decks most recently, or, you know, the last few weeks for Dawn Michelle's, I'm going to say Fellowship of the Weaver's Practice. I don't know what it's called now. Weaver's Practice? I'm not sure what it's called, but that's what I've been using these 3 for, and they blew me away. They were so fantastic. Now, this is a new deck in my collection. I saw this on Fairlight Tarot's channel, and I saw it and I was like, oh, and I looked it up, and it was on sale. I was naughty, I purchased it. You know, done is done. Done is done. Really enjoy it, and I think this is going to pair with, or, you know, pair with some other decks. I think it's going to be very versatile, and, you know, go with a lot of decks in my collection. Stop talking, flip some cards for goodness sake, so we can see what's going on. yeah, and these three, they were just really, really, really good. Really enjoyed them together. As mentioned, I've had these two for a long time, and I feel that I've used the Faceted Garden Oracle for... I think I used this when I went out in nature with the Wild Unknown Tarot, or was that the Illuminated Earth Oracle? I'm not sure. I always get these two decks confused. And then I've also used this deck, or if not, the Illuminated Earth Oracle for poetry with the Lorenzi Tarot. So I felt the need to kind of, you know, take them away from those pairings and try them with this, and they worked really, really nicely. I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to have a bit of a sip of coffee, because, you know, I'm feeling a bit breathless, a bit out of practice of creating and talking on videos and speaking English. So my English is the total, you know, very, very, totally, terribly bad. Wait, what? Coffee break. Mums. Love this tower card. I've got a new appreciation for just this tower card, as well as Tira May's tower card in the Ritual Tarot, but I'll go into that in my catch-up video. It's all a bit mystical. I don't mean to be mystical and not give you the right information, but I don't want to be repeating myself, you know. So I don't want to, you know, go too much into detail. This is supposed to be a quick video, and it's turning into a long video. Yeah, what more can I say? I can't really say anything anymore, apart from the fact that these three worked amazingly well together and gave me some really excellent messages. I feel that I got this one quite early on, or not when I first started my journey, but I really noticed the difference now when I got this one back out, having not used it for a while, that I have a different appreciation for the keywords, and the artworks, you know, it hits in a different way than it did previously when I used it. Two more. I've lost kind of track of how many decks I've shown you, but I'm assuming that we're still in the allocated number of decks I'm able to show you. I think I've got two more. And they are old favourites. You're not going to be surprised to see them. Let's get into them. And the last two are, yeah, tried and true, loved favourites in my collection. We've got the Darkwood Tarot, which you're not going to be surprised to see, I don't think. Still haven't edged that red card because I'm a nincompoop and I'm too busy using the deck to do that. And Tarot V, which I freaking blooming love, because it's fantastic. I've been using these two with this book, which I shouldn't be really showing you because it's not part of the video, but you know, I go rogue from the get-go. I do what I want on my channel. Purchased this book very recently, been working through it. I had to move these decks off my desk, so I've been working with this one, this book, in connection with these decks. And this is a book which is created by, I can't think of the person who's created it. I'm going to write it on the screen for you. But I blooming love this. And I blooming love these, obviously. So let's show you a couple of cards. No doubt you've seen them. And let's get the ring light, you know, away, because that's not good, is it? Oh, look here, a tower card. How nice that the tower card decides to make a bit of a what's the word? Appearance. What's going on with the lighting? For goodness sake, I'm totally out of practice of making a video, as you might be able to tell from all the tangents in the conversation. Yeah, this taps me into my inner mausoleum work, you know, the facets of self that I'm working with, and this one taps me into my the inner wolf and the red bonnet facet of self as well. Oopsie, so that's what we're supposed to be doing. Will these two ever leave my collection? I don't know. This one's been dormant for quite a long time. Now it does sit right there, because just above me there and here is my facets of self-love altar. So I have all my facets of self decks like here in the cubby holes by my desk, but it's been sitting there for, I don't know, I want to say 6 months without being used really. And then a couple of days ago, I was like, that baby needs to come out. So even though we've been, away from each other and I haven't been using it, it was just like, you know, a that kind of friend that you don't speak to for a couple of months, then you know, phone or, you know, run into, and it's just like you've never left each other. Like, you've never been away from each other. I'm not going to show you more of these decks because you've seen them. You know I love these two. So yes, that was my list of 11 favourites. If I film this video tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, could this list be different? Absolutely, most definitely, yes. Will I be filming that video tomorrow or the next day? Absolutely not. But I'm just, you know, just so you realise that I'm a fickle bean, and things ebb and flow, don't they, within our practices, and that's all okay. But these are my current favourites right now. I'm also going to say I've been pairing it with this deck, which is the Lonely Soul Oracle, these two. Chef's kiss, but I'm not going to show it because that's 12 decks and I'm only supposed to be showing 11. What say you? What decks are in your favourite list of 11 decks? Should you create a list right at this moment in time within your practice? Let me know in the comment section. I would love to know. This is very interesting. Oh, I do like it when sneaky beaky messages come through. Anyway, that's it. I'm done. I'm dusted. I'm going to stop talking. Have a lovely morning. Have a lovely afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm so happy that you decided to join me one more time for another video. And I hope to see you in the next one. Toodaloo.